Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently going live for another anomalous broadcast from Site-42. We are finding our way to the YouTube space. We are digitizing signals. I hope you have your Foundation-approved YouTube account booted up. Do not do this on your personal account, Steven. Foundation staff, calling 1, calling 2. Let's send that link. Make sure everybody knows where to go. If you are watching this and you have friends who need to be watching it, you should be sending it to their Twitter accounts at this moment. Their Twitters, their Tumblrs. And we're going in 3, 2, 1. Hey there, Foundation staff. This is Sherman, but you can call me Sherm. Welcome to another anomalous broadcast from Site-42. For anybody unfamiliar with our show, the rundown goes like this. Number 1, I read you an SCP document. B, I open up the floor to the community to discuss what we're reading. We're often visited by SCP authors, staff, fans, and if we're lucky, the author of the article themselves shows up to share some insight. Remember that if you'd like to join the conversation yourself, I will be monitoring the YouTube chat in between chapters and answering questions, as will my guest. Also remember that if you enjoy the show, leave a like and a comment to let us know, subscribe and hit the bell, and if you really want to help us out, become a patron at patreon.com/site42. Tonight, we are continuing the Tales series Vend-a-Friend by Darkstuff. And lucky for us, Darkstuff has decided to join the show tonight, so let's bring him on. Good evening, Darkstuff.
Hello.
How's your week? How you been, buddy?
My week has been real slow. So last week was stressful. The week before. Oh my God. When you asked me on the last podcast, I was said that I had a stressful week. And so this week was the aftermath of that. And it was a lot of rest and relaxation and procrastinating things and not doing a lot. And honestly, I enjoyed myself quite a lot.
Find your zen, bro. Find your zen.
And it was much needed because we're going to go right back into preparing for finals this coming week.
Whew, break a leg on that.
Thanks. That's pretty much it. I mean, there was a lot that happened this week, but it was all in relation to a certain video game I play, and that's just not what our podcast is about.
Hashtag gamer problems.
Please don't.
Major in the chat. Happy birthday, almost birthday for Friday. Hallelujah.
Oh yeah. I need to get onto the stream so I can see the chat.
You do.
I do. Gosh
Randall,
darn it.
hello in the chat. Oh, you're 100% up to date on the vids though. Excellent. We're pumping out like 3 a week now. It's really hard to keep up.
Nice too. You're 100% up to date on all the vids.
And finally, everybody make sure you like the video and stuff while we go along. We have 7 likes right now, which is excellent because we're doing Chapter 7 of Vend-a-Friend tonight.
Woo.
Do you have any pre-show for us before we get into this?
Only that I think this one's going to be especially fun. That's all I have.
Oh boy, oh boy. For a little background before we get started, the formatting on my teleprompter does not match what happens on the wiki. So what ends up happening is that I get plain text, so I can't see when things are italicized or changing sizes. What's happened here is Darkstuff has now Google Doc'd me a formatted version that has enough of a stage direction that I don't have to read ahead to know what's going on. So I'm still going into this blind, but I have a better idea of things like volume changes or emphasis. So we will see how this goes. Mason, welcome to the stream's first-time watcher. Thanks for joining us. And Tipper as well. Hamster-powered computers are a form of technology we can all get behind in these trying times where resources are limited. But enough of that. Let's get to Vend-a-Friend, where things are always cheery and good and fine.
Of course. All right, go on mute.
Chapter 7. Life's a Show. Darkstuff, is there a voice I should have in mind for this to start? A character, maybe?
You'll figure it out very soon.
Okay. Starting out. Da 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 da. A tiddly da tiddly dee. A toodly 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 da biddy da. A da 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 a da da da. Bare necessities, oh simple bare necessities. Window to the tulips by the garden, by the willow tree. In a land of pure imagination you'll be. I was born a unicorn, something, something. Unicorns are people too. Da da da, ta da ta da 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 da. Ya patida ba doodly doo. Golly gee whiz, being dead is boring. I thought that it had just, poof, gone. No more thoughts. This is different. This is super weird and not cool, and I kind of maybe don't like it. There she comes now in veil. She's walking down the aisle. So close down, now she winks. I recognize that smile. A spider and I, a fly with white gloved hands. Wait, something's amiss, but this wedding has been planned. I'm gonna miss listening to music. How does she know that you love her? How does she know that she's yours? How does she know that you love her? How does she know that you love her? How does she know that you really, really, truly love her? How does she know that you love her? How do you show that you love her? How does she know that you really, really, truly love her? What? Sorry, I'm loud. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry. Okay, where am I? No, seriously, I am clearly not dead. I'd be super dead by now. I'd know if I was dead. This is not dead. I may have never been dead before, so I am not the expert on the matter. But this is most certainly not dead. I am very alive. Look, those are my fingers. Hey, those are my toes. That is my camera falling down because I was joking. This is live theater, everybody. Okay, where's that green screen? How do we aim that camera? Let me count the ways. I hope you enjoyed the Quentin Tarantino part of the broadcast. Was it really worth it? Okay, we're back. That's my face now that I fixed the camera. That's my face. There's my chest. Here's my hair. All my mentionables and unmentionables are where they should be. So I am not dead. Decidedly so. Good. We have that figured out. Step 1 to the puzzle. Figure out if you're not dead. Check. Not dead. Did it. Good. Step 2. Step 2. Step 2. Where is Brainy? Brainy is purgatory. Step 1. Is Brainy dead? Check mark. Yes, Brainy is dead. Step 2. Where is Brainy? Check. Yes, yes, Brainy is somewhere. Brainy's in purgatory, awaiting judgment. Oh, gracious gods, lords above, please bestow upon me your heavenly judgment. Help me atone for my sins and reward me for my good deeds. I have always worshipped you. Step 1, is Brainy dead? No. Step 2, where is Brainy? Unsure. Step 2.5, is there a god? No. Should there be? No. Not in purgatory. Step again. Step 1, is Brainy dead? Unsure. Step 2, where is Brainy? Brainy is in a place that is so empty that it's not even dark anymore. It's just nothing. Only Brainy exists, and he's bored out of his mind and really concerned. Where is Brainy? The world may never... Wait. Summon. Let there... Give me a... lollipop. Whoa! And another one. And another one. And another one. And another one. Kiwi watermelon. Step 1. Is Brainy dead? Check. Heck no! Brainy is, in fact, enjoying some great lollipops right now. Step 2. Where is Brainy? Oh, I am so glad you asked, you handsome young fellow, you see. Brainy is in his headspace. My very own headspace. Step 3. How did Brainy get here? Simple. Backup plan. I forgot about this. Plan B. Of course, Brainy wouldn't fail. Brainy never fails. Instead of fails, Brainy prevails. And his ROMs never get stale. Unless he does. Bye, bicycle. Shimmy to the right. Shimmy to the left. Shimmy to the left again. Yeah! What would Brainy be without a plan B? Brainy wouldn't be so brainy, would he? Whenever he dies, he does what he please. Because Brainy is named Brainy for a reason, you see. With glorious speed, Brainy does conceive that if he dies in the future, he will need a release. So he builds himself a body out of spare parts he found, and now he still can strut his stuff all around the town. That's right. Give me a big house. Ooh, and a kiddie pool, and a landscape. Think the Lorax. That's it. Give me a good song. Oh, Headspace. This couldn't be. Oh my God, you know me like the back of your hand. Idiot song by Idiot Flesh. Admittedly a guilty pleasure, but I have been a little indulgent as of late. I completely forgot about this. What did I call this project way back when? It was something cliche. I remember that much. Oh yeah, the Lazarus model. TM. Trademark Brainy. Brainy did this. I did this while I was working side by side with people who didn't know how to shut stall doors in the bathroom. Brainy is king. Brainy is king. King Harding, master of the headspace. Give me a Ferris wheel and a roller coaster and a spaceship and a friend. Oh, hello, Thomas Timothy Thompson.
Brainy?
That's me.
Where are we?
We're in my headspace, 3T. There are two possibilities right now. You are dreaming, and I'm really talking with you. Or you're awake at this very moment, and what I am seeing is a figment of my imagination. Isn't that cool?
Brainy, you didn't have to bring me out here.
This is so good of you. I didn't even know you had a headspace.
How much did it cost?
Nothing. I made it myself.
That's cool. That's the coolest thing I've ever had the privilege of calling cool. You're really good, Brainy.
Oh, I know. Don't need to tell me twice.
You have no sense of humbleness.
And proud of it. Look, 3T, the thing about this is, you're not gonna like this, but I'm dead.
Dead?
Yep. super dead. Took the gun to my head and, bang! Pretty 100% certain that I'm dead.
Oh my God.
I know it sounds bad now, but I was in a pretty bad place. I'm better now, being dead and all. Thing is, I'm not really dead. In fact, I have a new body. I look the same, but I took the liberty of clearing out a few cosmetic issues, you know?
Why did you go and do that?
Shush, 3T, you're not letting me get to the good part. See, I'm in my headspace, and my body isn't really real right now. I only exist in my headspace. Isn't that cool?
Why did you
Kablamo my head right open? You'll find out. Look, you really are interrupting my thought process, you know? I think better when I'm talking, so please shush and hush, all right? My headspace, right? Usually the exit is where I'm dreaming from, but I ain't dreaming. That means the exit doesn't really know where to exist. For anyone but me, that'd be a bad thing, because you'd never be able to get out. But I'm not anyone but me, 3T. I'm me. I'm Brainy Brian. I've stumbled a few times as of late, but I am flying with adrenaline, and I have backup plans on backup plans on backup plans. Oh gosh, I've been a bit mean, haven't I? I'm sorry. I was just so excited. I start losing all my sense of social workings when I get all excited like that. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is that nobody will believe that this dream happened. Brainy couldn't possibly have a headspace. You aren't going to get to management with the news of this dream before the news gets there normally that I've kicked the hay. They'll think you've either made it up or had it because of the stress of losing a friend. But believe me, 3T, I am not gone, and this is not the last time we'll meet. Continue with business as per usual. Make your toys and make them well like you always have. I have more hugs to give and kisses to share, and I love you, Thomas. We will reunite. Wait patiently. I have a plan. I can't go back to Wend-a-tingment like I would want to. I've always been meant to perform, and that's just what I plan on doing, Thomas. I plan on living life to the fullest and going out and experiencing the world. Next time you see me, I'll be on stage. I love you like a brother. You know that. Happy trails. Smooches. Bye. Chapter break. Whoa!
That was
tarnation,
really fun.
Darkstuff?
Thoughts? Any thoughts?
Any thoughts?
Perhaps they would be better saved for the end, but anything brief to say?
At least to the start here, I am very entertained that Brainy is back.
Yay!
Of the thoughts of ways things could have gone, finding a way to loop Brainy back in opens a lot of interesting questions. Like, oh my god, now I'm so concerned about what he's going to do next. I am so concerned, and that's so exciting. Meanwhile, in the chat, Western is here. Hey, Western, glad you joined us for a little bit, or maybe still
hey,
here,
Western.
because that was a while ago when you said that.
Ooh, Insanity Major's favorite line is in this chapter.
Ooh.
Of course, don't spoil it yet, Insanity Major, but at the end, I'm going to want to know which one it is.
All right. So, let's get back in there. Next section.
All right.
Thomas Timothy Thompson awoke with a start. The world was never dark in Wonderworld, TM, but it was dim and hard to make things out. His bed teetered and tottered this way and that as it rode down the Sleep with the Fishes TM creek. He was in a long tunnel, and soft glowing caricatures of cartoon sheep glowed and blurred as they frolicked silently on the walls. 3T turned over and let his left arm dangle into the water, feeling a bed of moss and sugar weeds, TM, on the bottom of the canal. He picked one and began to chew on it. It was at once bitter and sweet, tasting faintly of some strand of persimmon. He tried to make sense of his dream. He wondered if it was really a dream, or if it was what Brainy had said. He wondered what could have driven Brainy to He couldn't even bear to think of the word. The whole ordeal was a terribly alien concept to the innocent mind of 3T. He floated out of the tunnel and saw the cityscape. The place glowed with faint pinks and blues. For a city, it had a very minimal nightlife. Everyone had a bedtime and followed it religiously. 3T sat up and let himself be perplexed. He knew it was bad, but it just seemed to be getting worse. At the next convenient stop, Thomas crawled out of bed and onto the shore of the ride. He stretched and yawned and guessed the time was something close to midnight.
Whoops.
Okay.
Let me fix that.
At this point, I just had to... I didn't know if it was me or not. All right, going on. He went to the lockers by the entrance and got his clothes out. The lockers had no locks because, of course, nobody would steal. That would be indecent of them. He didn't bother to put them on, though. Still in his pajamas dotted with T's, which were a gift from Battery a year or so back, he strolled down the big grassy hill and past the Wonder World TM, suburbs, life-size gingerbread houses TM. There were no cars to fill the streets, though bumper cars lay abandoned at every street corner, so he walked in the middle of the road. He had never been up this late. It was an odd feeling, but he simply couldn't fall back asleep. Not in a mood like this. He passed down all the candy stores, toy shops, Ferris wheels, mini-marts. You sent tiny mouse people in to retrieve your goods for you. Roller coasters, the Flying Fire TM in particular, and some other various rides. He walked by big curvy hotels and small pudgy motels, big fancy restaurants, small dingy diners, and the multiverse's biggest ball pit, TM. It really was, by the way. With the light outside so dim, all colors were muted and gave the place a lonely look. 3T had never seen the world so empty before. The pink and blue glowing orbs, I wish I may, I wish I might, wish upon thee, bright night lights, TM, floating above the city, cast only the most basic of light over the buildings. No logos or anything could be made. No real concrete details. Everything was only shapes and impressions. 3T had never thought he could feel that Wonder World TM was so foreign to him. But his whole perspective felt strange. Thomas felt odd. He needed grounding. Finally, he arrived at an apartment complex. He walked through the door into the small lit-up lobby area. He stared down the buttons by the elevator. Billy the Magical Bean, Sandwich, Marvelous Marvin, Ellepant, and Percy Pinwheel. He clicked and held the very last button and began to speak softly into it.
Pinwheel? I'm in a bad place. It's me, Thomas. I need a friend.
3T stepped back and waited for a response. His leg bounced, and his clothes hung over his arms. Jingled softly. Jingled softly. Nothing. Thomas approached again and held the button again. And then he spoke again.
I know you're a light sleeper. Are the fans too loud? I want some company, please.
3T stepped away once more and sat on the bench next to the lift. If nothing else, he could sleep here, he thought. Maybe use his clothes as blankets. That would have been nice enough. He drooped under his own weight, and began to nod off before the elevator dinged. The doors opened and beckoned him inside. 3T sauntered into the tiny room, and the doors closed. The machine whirred to life, though fairly silently, and took him up to the topmost floor. The doors opened, and he heard all at once the sounds of tens of fans all going off at once. Myriads of pinwheels were strewn about the room. Myriads of pinwheels were strewn all about the room, spinning at incredible speeds and creating a soft, flapping hum. Percy appeared from behind a corner, wearing only a bathrobe and holding a plate with 2 cups of tea. "Chamomile?" Thomas asked in a croaky voice, red-eyed and cheeks sunken. What does Percy Pinwheel sound like? What does Percy Pinwheel sound like? Percy Pinwheel. Percy Pinwheel. Percy Pinwheel. Dreamcatcher chamomile. TM. 3T took it and sipped on it. It was already drinking temperature, just like any Wondertainment tea would be. He knew that Pinwheel only kept this in stock because he liked it. Percy was a greater fan of Pillowpecker. Thanks, Darkstuff. Percy was a greater fan of Percy was a greater fan of Pillowpecker Peppermint, which 3T knew must have been what she was drinking. Oh, Percy's a she. Good to know. The voice still works. Her apartment always smelled like peppermint. She wouldn't have been a candy catalyst without her pervasive peppermint smell. She sat down on the couch and patted the seat next to her. He sat with her, and they sipped on their tea in the dark. Only the sound of wind and pinwheels was present. They enjoyed each other's warmth and company, and drank in silence. After they were done, Pinwheel opened her arms, and 3T clambered on top of her and used her right breast as a pillow. She wrapped around him, and he closed his eyes. She smelled wonderful. 3T began to frown, and shivered. She played with his hair and rubbed his back, nuzzling into his forehead and kissing him there. Thomas hugged her tight and nuzzled back at her, into her chest. Engulfed in warmth and comfort, he spoke. "I don't think this world is a happy place." They shifted and curled around each other even more, sharing emotions wordlessly through strokes and pats and squeezes. She knew just what to do with him. Sometimes, 3T thought, Percy knew him better than he did. He pulled away only enough to look into her eyes, which he could only make out in the darkness as 2 sparkling stars in the corner of her pupils. "I want to leave." "Where do you want to go?" "I don't know." They breathed each other's breaths, felt each other's heat, and loved each other's company. They were 2 links in a chain, unbreakable and stronger together. Pinwheel and Thomas fell asleep and awoke the next day, bombarded with the news that Brainy had been wiped from the earth, and they decided to call in sick. Chapter break. Oh, 3T.
He's kind of a depressive.
A little bit.
What's happening in the chat? What's going on?
I'm checking on Major's favorite line was, "How much was the headscape?" "Nothing. I made it myself." But in his... Obviously, when you say it in your head, you're going to have your proper inflection the way you think of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so your delivery is going to be different than the people who are reading it in this case. For me, specifically that line, in my head, anytime I see the words "I made it myself," I get sucked back into the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh?
And I think of like Columbia making dinner. No, that's not the right...
I've never seen Rocky Horror.
That's an "I helped." I made it myself. Where is that? That's not even the right reference. Now I can't think of it. Because the voice in my head goes, "I made it myself." What is that reference? Oh, that's going to bug me until I figure it. I made it myself.
Well, it may just have to bug you for a while.
It's going to bug me. I'm going to Google that later. In the meantime, let's, all right. Is this the third section? Is this the last section?
This is, and I have a tip for you.
Ooh.
The ones where you see both the slashes and the asterisks mean it's both italicized and bolded, and the idea was to have it be in an announcer voice.
Ah, yes. Cool. All right, I've got that right there.
That's all.
Sweet, let's do it. I got the announcer voice queued up. I see where it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Chapter 7, Section 3. Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring our naughtily nautical naked nereid, Nixie! The bright red curtains pulled back and revealed a large glass dunk tank, swimming with piranhas of neon pink and greens. High above the tank sat a mermaid, clad in naught but 3 seafoam bracelets, on a wide sky blue diving board with her back to the audience. Many an ooh and ah emanated from the audience, along with a couple nervous squeaks at the harrowing series of events that were sure to play out within the next few moments. Not to worry, folks. Nixie's an expert at evading serious and terrifying problems. I would know. We used to date. She turned, waved, and winked, and then pulled herself backwards off of the plank and gracefully into the open air. Her rainbow fin shimmered and glistened as she spun and pulled off 3 full backflips before diving into the water with not so much as a sploosh. As soon as her first fingers had touched the water, the glowing, ravenous fish had been magnetized to her position, creating a swift-moving, flesh-eating light show that danced within the confines of the tank. Nixie didn't stay underwater for more than a split second before she had lunged down into the open air above once again without a single scratch. She repeated this trick several times in quick succession, adding minute flourishes and tricks into her every swiveling curve. Almost imperceptibly, the cartoonishly curvaceous ringmaster had shimmied onto the edge of the diving board above and dropped a large red ball that threatened to disturb the perfectly contained dunk pool. Before it could grace the surface of the water with its presence, Nixie batted it perfectly back from where it came with her tail. The spectacle also tossed a small crowd of neon piranhas into the air, which threatened front seat audience members into fits of frightful tremors. Thankfully, they fell harmlessly onto a small pit of wooden spikes that surrounded the tank, making shish kebabs that stagehands quickly picked up and began to cook. Dinner and a show. After the ball was effortlessly kept from its downward descent by increasingly spectacular motions, it was sent flying up to the woman on the board. The ringmaster's violet eyes followed the ball as it rose above her, only for a girl to pop out from under her top hat and burst the ball with a pin. After the loud noise that followed and the confetti that broke out, something else began to fall. Out of the popped ball, a long black eel, highlighted with color-changing lines down its sides and on its fins, coiled and twisted and hissed. Eels? Hissed? Before splashing into the dunk tank. Nixie, looking thoroughly confused and frightened, collided with the frilly, oily serpent in midair and fell back into the tank with a slap sound. The audience let loose, short, wondrous, concerned gasps. The piranhas seemed to swarm on a single spot in the tank, and shimmers of the golden fins of the eel were caught at glances in the spots between the hungry school of fish. For a full 4 seconds, nothing seemed to happen. The crowd was held in horrendous shaking and horror as they perceived themselves to be witnessing a horrible carnival accident. Suddenly, the piranhas began to circle, yet didn't seem to swim. Soon, the whole tank was spinning, and the water threatened to spill over the sides. Nixie shot out of the very center of it, shaking a few fish off of her tail effortlessly onto the shish kebabs below. She returned to the whirlpool and swam in circles, leaping out while the eel followed her like an iridescent shadow. The crowd cheered and hooted and hollered, throwing their voices at Nixie in glad celebration and relieved ecstasy. Suddenly, however, Nixie looked concerned once more. Something distracted her from the uproarious applause and the tricks and sports. The eel had given up chase, and the piranhas had all gravitated to a dark spot in the water and... by God, was the water turning red? A hand with sharp nails, covered in bites, scratches, and blood, shook itself out of the water and tried desperately to hang on to something. Nixie acted on instinct and dove towards the figure, the crowd continuing unknowingly in their obnoxious, loud approval. She swam towards the fish feast and pulled the eel off of the being's neck, chucking it out of the water and up and over onto the skewers. The thing twitched and flailed before succumbing to the spiny wooden death. Soon enough, something else sputtered out of the water. Nixie, carrying the man with piranhas flying off of them, flopped disgracefully onto the side of the stage, where she feverishly pulled fish off of, or more likely out of, the man in an orange and black pinstripe suit. The curtains closed on the emergency, and Nixie heard the ringmaster trying to control the crowd in their confusion. She called for Dr. Tinkles, while two stagehands came and picked the man out of her arms. The man, soaked in his own blood and pricked with teeth that had broken off of the fish, coughed and wheezed and yelled. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your show. You were great. You were so great. Keep it up. Oh, holy Jiminy Cricket. Gosh, diddly Christmas. I'm really so... Sorry, fudge. Fiddlesticks, barnacles, crepe on a stick, and call me Sunday. Get me to a medic! The man moaned and writhed as they brought him out of the tent and off into the circus. Nixie pulled herself further off stage and into the wings and clambered onto a chair. The bastard had ruined her act. What the hell kind of asshole just goes and appears in your tank like that? What kind of idiot teleports himself into an aquarium of hungry flesh-eating fish? A speed-walking man with an upside-down face appeared from behind a corner, furrowed brow, though it really came off as more of a furrowed chin, furrowed brow, though it really came off as more of a furrowed chin, and all inquisitive as ever. What just happened? Nixie took another couple deep breaths, glaring at Manny and attempting to regain her composure. Nothing good. Nixie grabbed a fish kebab and crunched on the colorfully crispy caraciform. On the colorfully crispy caraciform. End chapter. So, we're at Herman Fuller's now.
Yep.
We're at Herman Fuller's now.
We are. We genuinely actually are. That's the thing that happened.
That's a thing that happened. Oh, man. And black and orange pinstripes, I'm remembering correctly that is our boy Brainy, right?
That is Brainy, yes.
Oh, boy. Okay, so now he's in the realm of the living again. And he apparated into Herman Fuller's piranha fish tank during a show.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
You may notice that the title of this chapter is Life's a Show.
I did not realize the significance of that until this moment. Oh, man.
I think it's pronounced Cherisiform, but let me look it up.
Yeah, I always got to look up those like genuses when I start doing readings. I never know what that Latin's supposed to be.
Cherisiform pronunciation. This video is not even Caraciforms, it seems to be. Caraciform. There we go. So thoughts. What are your thoughts, Sherm?
So phase 1, we have Brainy's headspace in a dream conversation with 3T.
Mm-hmm.
And already happy to see Brainy's back.
Cool.
I'm wondering if we'll get into details about building the headspace, but I'm not sure they're necessary. It's kind of one of those things that I'll let happen to keep the story going, but if there are details that like explains it, that would be cool too. As well as like reaching out to people's dreams. I wonder if he reached out to more people's dreams.
I can't make any noises at that, either in like approval or disapproval.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Second half, sad, 3T, and Percy Pinwheel. I just feel bad for 3T. He's such a nice dude.
He is. I kind of love him. Not even kind of. I really love him. 3T is like a little baby, and I want to protect him.
He's got those Eeyore vibes to me.
Eeyore? From what?
I guess not really. Not quite. I guess just because he was sad at the end of the scene is why I caught that, but there's a simplicity to 3T that I appreciate in a character. A good foil for fucking full speed Brainy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So now for this moment I can talk about a little bit about some of my thoughts behind writing this chapter, because chapters 1 through 5 were originally supposed to be a concrete complete package, right? And it was only later that I realized that I wanted to continue the series, and how that happened was that Dr. Chandra, who is unfortunately currently banned from the site, but he read what I had so far, and it wasn't, not all of Vend-a-Friend was out, but some of it was, and he was like, man, this seems like it would fit perfectly with my my canon about Herman Fuller, and that's called the Dread and Circuses canon, which you might have seen before. But if not, here's a link, and I'll also link it in the YouTube chat.
I believe,
I think you're
like, my only exposure to Herman Fuller is one tale called "Your Call is Very Important to Us."
That was written by Dr. Chandra.
That was requested for a reading by someone from the channel years ago, but it was just such a fun freaking reading.
Yep.
So it stuck with me.
And that was made by Dr. Chandra. And so he read Vend-a-Friend as it was coming out, and he said, man, this would really go well with my canon. Would you like to write for my canon? It's like, well, I don't know what I would write for your canon. I have no personal investment in Herman Fuller. And so I thought, wait, what if I make Vend-a-Friend continue and have Brainy show up at the circus? And then I did just that. Unfortunately, that did require a Deus Ex Machina moment where he just so happens to have a way to cheat death. I hope that I undo the sour taste that may leave in some people's mouths by creating it as a legitimate plot point that shapes the story, you know? So it's not just, you thought the character was dead, but he's not. It's like, no, things happen because he, quote unquote, killed himself.
There's in the world of our universe of anomalies, someone cheating death, it can't be that uncommon.
No, actually, probably not.
I feel like, especially in the wackier side of things, specifically Wondertainment and Herman Fuller, I feel like they would have more access to that just because it doesn't seem as heavy when they do it. Like, I know we have that one, I forget what number it is, SCP, where it's like death, you're alive when you're dead, and it's like a super anomaly that we're trying to like prevent death now because of that. Do you remember that one?
I do.
It's like a big deal on the site. I just can't remember what number it is. But
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, that's how the Foundation handles death. It's like serious business. This is a big, serious, dire event. I can see the wacky side of Anomalous World just being like, hit him with a hammer, he comes back.
Yeah, that's true. Although what is unfortunate about this, I do want in my like in things I write in general, I want death to like mean something. Like I don't usually want to kill off a character and then bring them back because oh my god, they were a fan favorite, and I want to have like the ability to
You gotta have stakes.
yes. So that.
So now,
But
now that we've gotten to this point, now that he's at the circus and he's talking about being on stage before that, so my first thought is that he intentionally landed at the circus. Because part of his plan was being on stage and things like that. Maybe not specifically in the fish tank, but I mean, if that's what you're into, Brainy, but I'm not sure of that. So, I mean, we already have a couple Vor SCPs. Maybe that I don't. Yeah.
shut up. Don't bring those up.
Nobody heard anything.
No one heard anything. No one heard no nothing.
So yeah, I think he intentionally went to the circus. Honestly, the only thing that makes me like in my head about that is that Brainy goes to the circus because he wants to be in a show. That makes sense. But the alternate take in my head and where I hope this might go is that he has been like he imposes on them in a way that they want him to leave. Because in my head now, I'm imagining a series where Brainy Brian plops into every GOI and causes havoc wherever he goes. This is what happens when Brainy Brian involves himself in the circus. It's kind of a decent fit. This is what happens when he's with the Marshall Carter and Dark. It doesn't go well.
I have nothing to say to that. But also, doesn't the stripy, the new Vend-a-Friend logo at the top make a lot more sense?
Yes, I saw that when I pulled it for the video, and I was like, I wonder what the new logo's about.
And it's because it's circusy. Going into Circus Town.
Da 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 circus.
Oh, what's that from?
It's a video of some sort. That's another reference that I was trying to think of when I said it.
And then there's another word. But what?
Circus.
I don't know. Oh my god, that is so familiar sounding.
I made it myself, and circus.
Well, get back to me when you.
Thank you, Katie.
Oh.
Madagascar is circus.
Oh yeah, doesn't the zebra say that?
That's Eddie Murphy.
All right, yeah.
That is Eddie Murphy, right?
Oh, Circus Afro. It's circus Afro. Circus Afro. Wow, thanks for pulling up that old file. I haven't seen Madagascar in like forever.
I made it myself. Like, God, I know the voice and I can't think of it, and it's going to bother me until you're going to see a tweet in like 2 hours that's like, I found it!
Oh, man.
All right, well, any closing thoughts before we wrap up for the evening?
Closing thoughts. The next tale is very, very dialogue heavy.
Ooh.
So you might want to make, and you know what? I'll give this one to you. One of the dialogue, one of the people talking is Manny, or the man with an upside down face. So if you want to make a fun voice for him, or just a distinctive voice, or whatever you want to do with that, it's going to take up like half the tale. Because just people talking.
Major figured it out. Major is the hero of the stream. It's Gur from Invader Zim.
Oh yeah.
Yes!
I made it myself. Yeah, it's totally Gur.
Major is my hero. Thank you.
Thank you, Insanity Major.
Perfect. Oh man, we got them both. Da circus. I made it myself. That's perfect. The stream is complete. We did it. All right, so Manny needs a voice for the dialogue. Anything else I should be ready for?
Nope.
All right. Manny the upside down face. Hello.
Mhm.
This is
Hello.
the upside down face. I need to get some
Uh-huh.
googly eyes for my chin. Everyone can see all the way up my nose.
Oh, I haven't seen the camera change
Oh,
yet because of
that
the
works.
stream delay. I'm very excited to see what happens.
Hallelujah. Oh, there we go. Now I'm watching my playback of myself. Okay, I gotta do a better
Oh.
back bend. I need to work on my back
Yeah.
bends. Because, all right, I gotta be higher. Okay. I'm
You're
gonna
close.
practice.
You're
Practice
close.
my back bends for this. All right, guys. That's enough idiocy for one evening from me and good stories and insight from Darkstuff.
Thank you.
From this point, be aware that Life's a Show is currently plus 39 on the wiki. And so if you like today's stream and you like today's story, go on the wiki. And that's really small text. You were right.
Yeah.
Go upvote the story if you liked it. I mean, downvote it if you didn't, but if you're here, you probably liked it because it was fun. So, upvotes if you're happy with it. Don't forget to like this stream and share and Patreon and things like that to help the channel. And thank you, Darkstuff, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good rest of your weekend. Site-42 viewers, thank you for joining us. I'll see you in the next stream.
Bye.